across the World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms. This is Jambo Radio! www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio! Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome to Love on the Stereo on Jambo Radio Scotland with me, your host, Holly. And I'm from Swipe Right HQ, which is Scotland's premier dating agency for the Afro-Caribbean community. So welcome back. If you are listening last week, welcome back. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Holly, and I hope you all had a lovely week. So on today's show, we are going to be exploring how couples can keep their love alive beyond that honeymoon phase. So I've named the show Swipe Clarity. Creating deeper connections, because falling in love is very easy, but staying in love, that's the tricky part. So we're diving into what it takes to build those lasting connections and kind of what it takes to make that relationship go the distance, from handling the tough stuff to keeping the spark alive. I have some tips and tricks for you lovers out there, and I hope to help you keep that love train chugging along, So welcome back, and I just want to remind you where you can catch us. So you can always catch Love on the Stereo on Jambo Radio Scotland on DAB in Glasgow and Edinburgh, live on a Friday at 6 or 7, or you can download the Jambo Radio Scotland app from the Apple App Store and Google Play. You can also watch the show live on Facebook at Jambo Radio Scotland and the YouTube channel at Jambo Radio Scotland. So hi, if you're watching live. Also, if you want to join the conversation, you can call the studio directly on 0141 530 2787. You can also send us a WhatsApp message, so like a voice note or even just a message, that's fine. You can do that on 0745 990 6822. And if you are on social media, you can also message us on Facebook at Jambo Radio Scotland, or you can message us directly at Swipe Right. That's Swipe Right-HQ. On X, formerly Twitter, we are Jambo Radio 1, and on Instagram, it's at jamboradio.scotland, or follow the Love Gurus directly on Instagram at swiperight.hq. So you can also email us your questions, your messages, whatever you want to talk about. You can do that directly at info@jamboradio.co.uk, or again directly to me at hq.swiperight@gmail. So let's get into it. Now, normally I'd love to start the show off with a little bit of music, set the mood, get us right in the Friday vibe or whatnot. But because we'd like to stream this on Facebook, and Mark Zuckerbaby won't let that happen because there's like copyright licensing issues. I'm joking. Listen, Mark babes, don't sue me, right? Don't cancel me. But anyway, you can also watch this live on YouTube. So instead of the scheduled musical breaks, we'll just have a news break. But my voice is enough. It's music to your ears. So you're very welcome. We won't need musical breaks if I'm talking. So let's get into it. In fact, let me paint you a picture for what today's show is about, right? So, you've been on the apps for a while, a few months. Shim, some people have been on the apps for a few years. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, right? It's tough, and you're getting fed up a little bit, but suddenly, boom, it's a match. You find someone. You're like, all right, boom, I'm getting off the shelf. It's starting to go well. You've toughed out so many awkward silences, you've gone through it, and now you've found someone. You've even had that chat to be like, hey, listen, babe, let's delete those apps. You're off completely. You can't be found. You're not on the market anymore, right? And it's going really well, and you're thinking, I've never gone this far before. Or even you're starting to get bored a little bit. It's maybe around this time where you always drop off in the relationships, or you start to think, oh, is this really what I want? Did I get into this? Whatever it could be, But you think back to those streets days, right? You're like, am I really going to dump this person and get back to swiping? You know, is it really that good out there? Like, the streets are cold, so you're like, boom, let me put in an effort. So you've come to the right place. This is what today's show is about. I want to talk to you about the little things that can help you, you know, not keep that honeymoon phase alive, because I mean, it's not going to be alive forever. You know, there's ups and downs. It's life, right? But I want to help you learn how to put that effort in so that the relationship stays sweet. Because I think some of you are used to just that honeymoon stage, and when that fades, you're like, no, maybe now I'm not happy. Maybe now I want something new. And I want to help us stop looking for something new every other few months, you know, and God gives us strength to do that. So first up, what is the first thing that it takes, you know, like to stay happy, I guess, to keep the love alive? To me, I think the most obvious one is communication skills. I can't go anywhere without this, you know. And today I want to look into how we can actively implement better listening techniques in our daily conversations with each other, like romantically, to enhance like the communication between the two of you. So the obvious thing is practice active listening. We've talked about this on the show, I think last week, if you want to catch up. But basically the whole gist of active listening is try and sum up what your partner has said and make sure you're on the same page. I mean, you could say something completely innocent and the person you're saying it to could receive it in like the most negative way. You know, it depends. You know, it could be that they've had a terrible day at work and whatever you've said, they've received it differently, or even you've said it, they've misheard it. So you say to the person, like, look, is this what you're trying to say, or this is what I'm understanding, is that what you mean? If you sum up what you've said and repeat it back to them, they could be like, no, that's not what I mean. Because things can get lost in translation even if you're sitting right across someone. So being a better listener means sometimes repeating what the person has said or summing it up to make sure that, have I listened to that correctly? Because we can listen without hearing. So that's really important. And also be present. You know, minimize things like distractions like TV and your phone, because we're all well, I think most people that we deal with at Swipe Right specifically, I think we deal with people over 25, right? And I think everyone around that age, we're distracted all the time. Like, you can be talking to one person over 4 different apps while the TV's on and you're cooking and you have someone in front of you, right? So being present in that conversation really makes a difference, so that you can understand what the person has said, you're able to repeat it, and it just feels like you've given them your attention. And also empathize and validate what they're saying. You know, I'm not saying agree to disagree 100% of the time, because it's not possible, but just saying, look, I get where you're coming from, because people are different. You know, you're not always going to understand. You're not always going to understand completely what someone is saying, because at the end of the day, it's 2 different people coming together to form a new life, right? So if you've been raised thinking this is right, the other person's been raised thinking this is right, of course you're going to clash sometimes. But sometimes that clash doesn't lead anywhere good. So just be like, you know, I understand what you're trying to say, and just validate it. Even though you don't agree with it, just be like, I can see that this is for you. Like, an example of, maybe not listening, but an example of letting things lie would be like, I don't know, I've heard some people like ketchup, right? Let's talk about ketchup. So if you've been raised in a household where ketchup, it lives in the fridge, and your partner is raised with ketchup living in the cupboard, right? Now this is causing constant arguments. You both don't understand where the other one's coming from. In fact, you don't want to understand because you just think either one is pagan behavior, right? The best thing to do there is to be like, look, let's buy 2 bottles of ketchup. I'll keep mine in the cupboard, you keep yours in the fridge, and then life goes on. You know, I don't understand why you keep things in the fridge, ketchup in the fridge, but cool. I validate that and understand that that's what you need. That's like an example of empathizing, validating without, like, I guess, dismissing or agreeing to disagree, but it's fake. You know, it won't lead anywhere nice if you keep doing that with pretty much everything. And a really important one as well is, and we again spoke about this in the previous show, is asking open-ended questions. Like, dig deeper and you find out what you really need to find out. It's not yes or no in relationships. I mean, of course it is. You know, do you want a cup of tea? Yes. You know, it's not everything that you must conversate over and over again. But if you're trying to keep the lines of communication open, I think, especially if you know how your person communicates, especially if they're a bad communicator, I think you can walk them through these open-ended questions. I think an example, I don't want to patronize, but an example is, instead of someone comes home from work and you're like, how was work? Good. That, and then the conversation ends. Rather than saying how was work, you can say something like, what's the best thing that happened at work today? Or, what's the worst thing that happened at work today? And that can open up a whole set of like, oh, nothing really. Oh, but actually this is what happened. And then even someone who wasn't going to talk about their day, they're going to start to open up and share things with you, because sometimes they've already shared that frustration with their coworker. So when they come home, there's no need for them to relay that back. Well, they've already shared that whole happy moment with another person. So when you just say, how was work? They'll be like, oh, good, because they had a happy moment. But if you encourage out of them to be like, anything good happened today, they're going to share that. They're going to get to know it a bit more about their day. And a really good one as well is clarifying misunderstandings ASAP, right? I'm not saying it's me, but some people out there, men and women, are overthinkers, right? So you could say something, wires get crossed, now you're doing 2 + 2 = 27, and you're walking away, and then you're taking whatever that your partner has said, you're giving it to your friends. You're now decoding messages that absolutely don't need to be decoded, because your friends don't have the context of where you plucked that sentence from. If you're confused, you're having a conversation or even a text message, and then you're like, what does this mean? I'm not saying be confrontational and be ready to fight at every moment, but if you don't understand something, or you feel like, what's going on? Like, don't just jump to the conclusion to say, is this what they meant? Because they could be having a completely different day from you, and the way that you interpret that message could be the way that they didn't mean it. So make sure to clarify, hey, yo, like, is this what you meant? It could be, and then you can start to box. I'm kidding, right? But it could be, and it couldn't be. So you don't have to jump to conclusions about because sometimes it's also from the lens where you're coming from, in terms of, you could say something in a mean way, and then the other person who's having a great day won't even receive it in a mean way. And then you're like, they're now huffing and puffing because why they're not reacting. But more often than not, great things are said, or good things are said and misconstrued. So make sure to clarify anytime you feel like, I don't get what that means, bring it up. It helps. And another thing is seek compromise and seek solutions. This sounds really official, right? But in a way it is, right? Because you're in this relationship, you're on the love train. You wanna keep it fueled. You wanna go the distance, right? So sometimes it is good to be a little bit official and be willing to compromise and find common ground, fix stuff together. Because remember, you're a team, right? It takes both of you to keep this train going. And someone is slacking, it's not going to work. If you're fighting, especially, don't try and be winning your corner, right? You're both of you are coming together to fight this thing. You're not fighting each other. So when you remember that, it's easy to compromise and come to a solution. And even though, sometimes somebody is right, absolutely. But even if you're right, it's not by force to really bring it home all the time and be like, and I was right and I told you. So, sometimes just let things go. And remember that at the end of the day, we're a team. No one's getting brownie points for anything. There's no awards here for winning fights, right? It's a double effort. And then again, on keeping things official, right? This next point, listen, I'm not saying have an HR meeting every Saturday at 2 p.m. about your relationship, but take the time to reflect and communicate properly, right? By that, I mean, like, taking time to check in regularly, like what's going good with us, what's going wrong with us. And it doesn't have to be official. It could be a throwaway comment. It could be like, hey, can we take 6 minutes and talk about this thing, right? And just be like, we had a really good date last week. What do you think that was? Like, we've been on loads of dates, but like, why was that really good? And you can be like, oh, I don't know. But having these conversations will help you do those good things again. It could be that, maybe you went to dinner and the reason it was really good was because you both hated the food, and then you were both like talking badly about the restaurant, or like talking badly about the people around you, and maybe you bonded over being haters together. And then you're going to be like, wow, let's find other things to hate together. And then that is something that you guys use to have great dates or like improve your relationship. Because even haters, they'll find each other. They need love. But what I'm saying is taking the time to reflect on why did we fight about that? Why did we have a good time there? All these things that really matter in going forward and informing future choices of whether or not the love train keeps chugging along. I'm going to stop saying chugging. I think let's put that down, okay? And the final thing in communication is timing, right? Remember, good talks, especially even tough ones, they take time and they take patience, because when you're first starting out learning how to communicate, and I think especially with like some African cultures, we're not really raised in families where there's open, safe spaces for communication. It's just not there, okay? And when you become an adult and you've not had that training from when you were younger, it's not going to be easy to go into this, You might find that your partner is very open and communicative, and you are like, we've fought, let me go silent right now, like I need this time. And sometimes give your partner time, but certainly when I say timing matters, I mean don't especially for the people who have not grown up in homes where you can communicate openly, right? You can't just approach someone because you have something on your chest and you must remove it. And as well, some people do get kind of anxious when you're like, listen babe, let's talk, and then you rush out the door, right? And then the whole day they're just shaking, just sweating hot, and it's not even that big of a deal. But what I'm saying is schedule time to be like, listen, I want to talk about this. And if you know that your partner is going to be sweating the whole day, just be like, it's nothing bad. Or even if it is something bad, just be like, it's about this thing, and then that will give them a chance to prepare their side of the argument. And so that when the conversation is happening, they're not listening to you, but only just preparing in their head what they're going to say next to you. It really, really matters, because also think about someone coming home from a long day at work. It could have been the worst day of the month for them. And now suddenly you're like, okay, babe, now we're going to talk about that thing, and it's not going to be a conducive, positive environment. It probably will end up in a fight where it didn't need to be. So think about timing when you're like, I want to have a conversation. I want to communicate about something bad that happened, something good that happened. And it also means that people can take the time to not be distracted. Again, if you don't time your stuff right, you could be wanting to talk to someone and the game is on, or I say the game, I don't even know when the game is on, but I mean like something could be distracting them. They could be anxiously waiting on email, anything could be going on in their head. If you don't make that space for them to make that space in their head, that conversation might not work. So timing really, really matters. And in keeping the love alive, we can talk all we want and until the cows come home, some will say, but you need to also have quality time. That's number 2 of the great points of keeping love alive. So I want to know, actually, what are some activities, like specific activities or rituals that you guys put into your routine that help you dedicate time together? Because life is busy. So if you do have any kind of specific activity that you guys do, please call in and share with us. We're here to learn. We're here to share. We're all in this together. I was going to say something dodgy. Let me not, right? But a great way to spend quality time is to plan regular days. Like, this seems really obvious, of course, right? But setting aside a time each week or, each month for a date. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are busy, right? Some people, like, you don't have the same hours and days as someone. You could be a single couple with a double income, no kids. You could be a double income with a dog. You could be having 4 kids. Everybody's time is going to be spent differently across the week, right? And the dates could look completely different. So if your life is really, really busy, you've got kids, whatever's going on, you could still make time for your partner. At the end of the day, your kids are with you for like maybe 18 years and your partner might be with you for 80. So they are important. So you need to make time for them. If you're so busy, and you can be, right? Just think like, okay, now I don't have kids, so please don't beat me, right? But I'm thinking like, you could, maybe the house is a riot and you're thinking, okay, it's been 3 weeks. We haven't had any time to each other. Listen, mate, meet me in the kitchen for a bag of crisps, and then you can close the door and have a bag of crisps, check in with each other. A date can last 10 minutes, guys. You don't have to dress up, put your makeup on, drive 30 minutes from the house. It's not by force. But if you do have the time on your hands, make the effort to set those regular dates in each month and rotate, or even each week if you have the time, rotate who makes the dates. It's not always the man must plan. Like if the woman has time, you plan the dates. And also it means that you will get a variety, because if it's one person constantly planning the dates, it could become stale, And as the years go by, it could even become a chore if it's not something they enjoy. But you could be lucky and find someone who enjoys planning, and then it's sweet, right? But it's good that you both share the excitement of like, oh, I've got something planned on X day, keep it a surprise, whatever it is, Don't be thinking now that you've swiped right, wink, right, that the dating is over. No, in fact, that's when it really begins. That's when you must turn up the volume and you must get creative, because at the end of the day, there's only so many coffee shops in your local area. There's only so many times that there's only so many times that you can enjoy the same plate at the same restaurant. So it takes a team effort to get together, get creative, and plan those dates. And another great thing is you can incorporate this into your dates, but another thing of finding a way to share quality time is to find a shared hobby or a shared interest, right? This is for everyone, right? Even if you're super busy with like 4 kids in your life, you can find a hobby that fits into the busy life. And it doesn't have to take away time from your family life, your work life, whatever. It could be as simple as, I don't know, our hobby is taking the bins out together to get those two minutes alone. You know what I'm saying, right? But there's a plethora of hobbies that you guys can try out together. Find something that you both enjoy and that you both can develop at it, because life is really busy, and having something that you two can work towards really creates a bonding experience that can take you out of that like monotony of like, okay, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. This is like specific time to invest in yourself to grow and invest in your partner, because it could be a completely new, it could be a new sport that you both are like, oh, I've always wanted to play, badminton, bowling, whatever it is, right? And one person becomes really good at it, or the other person is now tutoring the other. It's a really good way to bond, finding something that you can both do together. Ideally something that you're both new at, so you can see how you grow together and inspire each other to be like, oh, I'm not really bothered to go today, and then you can make it a bit of a competition to be like, to be honest, you're slacking. Make it something interesting. Take up knitting if you must. I don't know, right? But find something that you can both do and you can both enjoy, and it's not a lifetime commitment. A hobby can last 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is. Find something that can keep you together. And most importantly, with quality time, is tech-free time. This is self-explanatory, especially people our age and beyond. Like, we are inundated with constantly having our phone, our TV, our Alexa on, whatever it is, right? You have to disconnect to reconnect. And that sounds so cheesy, but to deepen your connection, you've got to switch off the connection. But seriously, it's so important to just be like, maybe to set time every day that you're like, okay, phone's down. Leave it in the bathroom if you must. Like, if turning off your notifications is not enough for you to constantly be reaching for your phone, because sometimes at this point in time, it's a reflex. Do you know what I mean? Every 20 minutes, you're probably going to be like flip without even your phone buzzing. So you find that that's really becoming a thing, then certainly take your phone to the next room. If you feel like you can't put your phone down, then maybe nighttime is the time to be like, okay, at 10:30 p.m. we'll leave our phones in the living room. Alexa will put the alarm on for the morning. Make sure that you have that time together to be like, this is just for you. Even if it's just watching Netflix. I know that's a sort of tech, but it's important to pay attention in the moment to say to the person, I'm here with you. Like, we're here together. No one else is going to interrupt this specific time. Another great quality time exercise. I guess it's exercise, isn't it? I jumped ahead, but it's exercise together. I don't mean, start climbing mountains. If you can, God will bless you. I cannot. But if you can do that, fantastic. But you can even just go for normal walks. I think that, sometimes a lot of people I know are just like, it's raining outside. What am I doing outside? A simple walk, honestly, the conversations you can have on a walk, you don't know that the different from what you would have had sitting on the sofa with that same quality time. Whatever it is going to prompt you outside to speak about something new. You will really surprise yourself. I mean, it's just just go around to the corner shop and come back if it's that serious. Rain or shine, guys, we live in Scotland. If you're not going to go outside in the rain, just lock your door, because it's always going to be raining regardless. Get a good jacket and head out to a simple little walk, or even try new classes, try new sports together, fail together, support each other in all that kind of weird activity thing. It brings people together. So just before we go into the next one, we're going to have a little news break. So here's the news at 6:30. Welcome back. That was the news at 6:30 on a Friday. And so if you're just joining us, my name is Holly. I'm from Swipe Right HQ, which is Scotland's premier dating agency for the Afro-Caribbean community here. So welcome back. We were just talking about ways that we can try and keep the love alive. The title of the show is Post-Swipe Clarity. This is about when you have been on the apps, you've been dating for a while, and now the love is set in. The honeymoon stage is maybe starting to fade, that little moment of like, is this the right thing to do? Or actually, it could be that you've been married for a long, long time and, things are just monotonous and life is just lifing. Nothing is changing. It's just, you're in this now. Maybe you have a few kids, where it doesn't matter whereabouts in life you are, whether you're starting out your love journey, whether you're deep in the trenches of it. This topic is about how we can keep that love alive. So we were talking earlier about communication skills and how we can use it to really make our relationships go the distance, and then we also start talking about quality time. So continuing on that, we finished up before the news talking about putting your phone down, switching the TV off, really disconnecting to connect. If you must, turn off the Wi-Fi from the router. It's not going to be that deep, but let's be honest, tech is an addiction. So let's be serious about that. And the other thing, I think we talked about this earlier as well, was weekly check-ins. Again, this is really sounding like an HR report. It's not, right? It's about taking the time, because life is so busy. You both could be living such high-flying lives. Scotland is busy. Like life anywhere is busy. So taking the time to connect to your person, because at the end of the day, as many people as there are in the world, you really, you could be polygamous. I don't want to speak out of turn, but if you are in love with someone, it's important to take the time to check in weekly, offer feedback to each other, offer encouragement. Somebody could be going through a tough time and they could start to pull away. If you don't do those check-ins, you won't notice that until it's too late. I think some people you see online like, oh, my wife left me. It came out of nowhere. But it didn't come out of nowhere. And vice versa. It's because you can become oblivious to what your partner who's sleeping right next to you is, having breakfast together, lunch together, but you're not checking in specifically. You could be talking about everything except the two of you, and you miss those small cues. So checking in is very, very important. And, create a relaxing ritual. I think there's I don't want to get my European cultures mixed up, but at the end of the day, they do mix us up all the time. So I'm just going to say Danish. I'm so sorry, I don't know which one it is, but it's called hygge or hygge. Try and spell that. Good luck. I think it's Hygge or Gee, something like that, right? We're not here to learn English. It's not even English, but basically this is about getting cozy. I think it's because this specific country is like constantly in winter darkness, so they make an effort to make their homes cozy, and it's a specific time called hygge time, however you pronounce that. So make that in your own home. It doesn't have to be the darkness of winter for you to say, listen, as a couple we want to create a little cozy time. It could be as easy as like every time before bed, let's brush our teeth together, or every time let's have a cup of tea in the morning together. Even I don't really know what your life looks like, but there's moments that you can find that are just like, let's get a little bit cozy. Maybe it means maybe all you do is watch TV together, and that's fine if that works for you. But be like, listen, let's make this cozier. Let's turn off the big light and let's put on a candle. Make your space romantic. Something that you wouldn't do for your friends, something that you wouldn't do for your family, or a space that you wouldn't share with your family. Do that for your partner. And finally, quality time means the time means the time you spend together. No, I'm saying like quality times means life together, and using that you can say oh goodness, I'm really eating my words. But spending quality time together can look like dreaming big together, right? Sitting down and making a plan, talking about your goals, your dreams, your bucket list items, all these things, planning for your future. You don't have to be on a date to do these things. Somebody could be in the bathroom and you're talking about dreaming big, or you could make it official. Get a calendar, get a planner, do all those things. That means that this specific half hour is us planning for the future. That is also quality time, because I guess you're making quality plans in a way. It could be as simple as like, let's make our shopping list for the week. That is quality time if you do it together. It's all about spending time together, and it could look like anything, honestly. It could be something serious or something not serious, whatever it is. Just try and get time to be together. Really, it's super, super important. And it doesn't have to be whenever you're looking good or whenever you're smelling nice. I hope that you're always smelling nice, Jesus. But yes, spend some quality time together, communicate well. And honestly, they do seem like really obvious things, but they do matter in the long run. And next up, I really want to highlight the importance of understanding how your partner feels most loved, because it's not going to be the same way that you feel most loved. And I think this is kind of based on the love languages test. I think some people listening might know what that is, and if you don't know, you can go online and check out. It's called the love languages test. I think you can do it as a couple. You can both answer questions based on each other, or you can do it by yourself. If you're single, that's fine. It helps you to get to know yourself. And I think especially for people in our culture where you're not encouraged to express yourself, this could help you find the words to tell your partner, look, I feel most loved when you do such things. I think there's 5 specific languages of like quality time, gift giving, physical touch, words of affirmation, and something else. However, I want to encourage you that it's not by force to really take these results seriously. You can, of course, if you want to, but I think that life and the situation that you're in at that particular moment can impact how your results come out. And I think if you do want to take the love languages test, then if you want to take the results seriously, then perhaps take it every now and again to check in and be like, do I still feel this way? Do I not still feel this way? It's fine either way, and share those results with your partner. And you might surprise yourself by what comes up higher on the scale. So we've already talked about this one, but one of the languages is quality time. Some people really value this, over all of the other 4 languages. And again, it could be anything. Even Netflix counts as quality time. It's pretty much whatever the other person enjoys. It could be sitting in silence. I mean, I hope you're not sitting in silence, but if you enjoy that, that's great. Personally, I cannot do that. Like, even when this mic goes off, I'm just going to keep talking, right? But quality time, your partner could just to be next to you as you do errands. It doesn't really matter, but it means that them being next to you means that they feel loved, right? And if you're spending all your time over at golf, all your time at work, even though you're doing such great things, you're communicating so well, that one little thing that's missing, that's a big important thing for them, could be that I just want to be where you are, and that's as much love as I need. It could really be the difference between feeling loved and not feeling loved. So check in and be like, what is my love language? What is yours? Let me try and do that thing for you, because you might be used to your independence, your loneliness. You could be like, I love to do things by myself all the time, and you might not know that the other person really hates that you do that. So it's a compromise, and you can be like, okay, I'm still going to do certain things by myself, but certainly I'm going to make the effort to be there for certain things for this person because that's what they want as well. And the next language is acts of service. I'm calling it acts of kindness, right? And this is about looking for ways to make your partner's day easier. A big hug, just because. I'm kidding. Taking on their most hated chores. You don't have to live together for acts of kindness, but certainly if you do, it can be a lot easier. Of course, it could be as simple as, making them a cup of tea. Maybe you wake up earlier than them and you see them every day. They're struggling to get their breakfast, to get their cup of tea, to get their coffee, and you're just chilling. Help them, do it for them. And it's just that little act of, like, you see they're always huffing and puffing as they fold, but it's so easy for you to fold the bin. Get that done for them. It could be so simple, and for you it doesn't take anything out of your day, but for them they'll be like, oh, wow, I feel so loved by you right now because you have brought me a spare spoon because I like to eat with 2 spoons and a fork. It's very, very small things, and it means that the other person, again, it won't take anything from you, but if you know that the other person likes it, fantastic. If you both like the same thing, even better, but you will not find that out unless you do these tests and find out for yourselves, or even just talk to each other. You don't need to do this test. You can express yourself and be like, think back to the times you felt most loved. What did that person do for you? What was happening in your time that you were like, gosh, I really feel like I'm glowing with the love glow? What was going on? Think about that and share that with your partner. Another thing is sweet talk. I think African people are very good at this, even though they don't think they are. The sweet potatoes, the whatnot, very good at it. But that's not what sweet talking is about. I'm talking about words of affirmation specifically, right? This is about somebody who feels most loved by the words that you say to them, right? I'm not saying start Googling compliments and be like, your eyes are like stars in the night sky. No, your eyes are brown. Do you know what I mean? They might be nice, but they're not like that. I'm talking about genuine things. Praise them for things. Appreciate them for certain things. For even little things. Of course, don't be patronizing, like, oh, thanks for closing the curtains. But you can be more specific and be like, oh, the TV was really dark. And you close the curtains? That's great. This is not patronizing, but I'm being so serious. Some people, words mean more to them than buying them huge gifts or cleaning the whole house. It's the difference between you feel like, oh, when let's say, like, oh, when my wife cleans the whole house, I feel like I'm loved. She might be like, I do that anyway. It's not a big deal. So talking, or words of affirmations, I'm calling them sweet talk. Again, this might be super uncomfortable for some African nations, right? Because, I don't know, affection, worldly affection isn't really a thing. Maybe I might be generalizing here, right? But I feel like where I'm coming from, I don't think people are like overly praising or overly, I don't know. The words are not always so sweet, but you can feel loved, but certainly it's not going to be via words. So if your partner, you met this partner, you're saying like, okay, they like to be talked sweetly to, you might have to do some background work, and Google how to do this, and it might be challenging, and the other person might find it uncomfortable to begin with, and if they do, then perhaps that's not their language, but maybe they've never heard it before, but they're going to work up to it. So it could be that you just need to adjust your tone of how you deliver these sweet words. It could be maybe even the timing that you deliver them. Maybe you don't tell them that they did a great job in front of their friends or in front of their family. Maybe wait until they're alone. That sort of thing. That can help to really sit into this new way of feeling their full weight of love coming from you. And some people's love language is physical touch, and with these people we can talk about it, but it's all about sharing those touchy-feely moments with them, because again, how you feel loved is not how the other person will feel loved. People would feel loved if you hold their hand. Others are going to be like, God forbid, like, my hand is sweating, don't touch me, right? But if you are on those opposite scales of the love scale, it's going to be tough, but you're going to have to compromise and be like, I don't like my handheld. I like my handheld. Let's do it 50% of the time. And you're both going to be, maybe you're both not going to be happy about it, but certainly it's going to be less contentious, and you're going to feel like your partner is putting in the effort to get to love you on your level. And physical touch, again, touching on the African cultures here, is PDA, right? It's not for everyone. I think some nations are specifically very much against it. Like, you could have a married couple who've been married for 20 years and you've never seen them hold hands. You've never even seen them kiss on the cheeks, right? But they've got 6 children. You know what's going on. Let's be honest, right? So PDA, discuss with your partner. Are you for? Are you against it? You know, and maybe the love language is physical touch, but they're also not into PDA. How are you going to cross that? You know, it could be as simple as, when you're in public, maybe you don't need to hold their hand, but certainly a little gentle rub, no one's gonna catch that, you know, but it's a signal to be like, look, we're actually, I'm connected to you in this crowd. It could be as simple as that. And that person who really enjoys physical touch is going to be, you know, reminded that, oh my God, I feel really loved by this person right now. And it's very, very small things, but again, proceed with caution with African babes and African men, because PDA might not be the one, but you can find where that balance is for you two as a couple. And as well, the other language is gifts, right? So gift giving, or gift receiving, whatever side you may be. Now, this is, sometimes people be like, my love language is gifts, right? And you can be like, oh wow, this person is super materialistic. Sorry, but that's not exactly what that means. I think that it means gifts from the heart, right? Of course, if you're a baller, don't be afraid to splurge on your babe. Don't be afraid, right? But I think genuinely, if your love language is gifts, I think you're thinking about the little things. It's more about the thought behind what this gift is. I think for some people, it'd be great to be gifted a Range Rover, but how often is that going to happen? You know, I think the more often it's going to happen is like, you know that their favorite yogurt is, I don't know, strawberry. Every now and again, you bring home a strawberry yogurt. It's going to make a difference to their day, and it's a small gift. It's not, she's not going to put it on the shelf. She's going to eat it, but it's in that moment. It's like, oh, wow, you were out and you thought to buy me something small. This is great. It's very, very little things, very little gifts. If you can them diamond rings every week, I'm not here to stop you, but it's the small things that you can be consistent with, because as much as keeping the love alive is about the love alive is about communication and quality time and whatnot, it's also about consistency. So don't start something that you can't continue, because you might set expectations that are hard to maintain. Can you keep up city breaks all the time? Now you have set a standard of living that you can't continue. Can you keep up a small Kit Kat every now and again? I'm not saying become a feeder, but I hope you're picking up what I'm dropping, right? And it's all about those small things. So love languages are really, really important. And I would encourage you guys to, if you are a couple, it's online, it's a free test, you can get that done. And don't lean into it too much, but certainly let it help you find the language to start communicating in those ways. And you definitely will surprise yourself. I think there's some obvious ones that, like, men are very much like this or women are very much like this, but it's generalizations, and two people can be very different. Find that out, and you know what, if you do the reach out, tell me how you went on. And if you are single, I would still encourage for you to do that test and find out about yourself, so that when you do meet that person and you've been plucked off the shelf, you can communicate that easily, and off the bat they can be like, hey, yo, boom, this is what I like. Oh, okay, they like that, no problem. Help the person to help you. Help the I said I wasn't going to say chugging again, but here we are. Help the love train keep chugging along yourself as well. And another thing in terms of keeping the love alive is the two of you creating memories. I keep saying this, but life gets really, really busy, and it's easy to let that take over. It's easy to let work, family, hobbies, friends take over, and then the person that's right next to you gets the worst of you because everything else is so busy. But taking the time to make the effort and create memories together, try new things together, it could be the difference between a love life just simmering away for 30 years and a love life being electric for 30 years. It makes a difference, you know. And we're in Scotland. It's a fantastic place to explore new places. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times, especially if you're immigrants to the country, or maybe you came as a child, even if you didn't, even if you were born here, right? I think a lot of the times people don't explore their own city. You don't become a tourist in your own city unless you have a family member visiting or a friend visiting. Then you're like, oh, boom, let me see what's available, you know. But you can do that right now in your dating life. You can be like, I don't know, things to do in Falkirk. There's going to be something every town that you go to in Scotland. There's going to be something, and transport is cheap, right? Buy one ticket to St Andrews, get off every other stop. You know, do a pub crawl if you must. Do a coffee shop crawl. Experience things. Do it together. Break up your weekends. Break up your weekdays. Even, you know, here I think there's a culture of let's live for the weekend. It's not by force. Yes, your day is over at 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m. You can do something between 8 and 10 p.m. Go to bed at 10:30, and that could be the difference between, oh my gosh, what a long week, to I can't wait for Wednesday, because Wednesday is when we do something weird. Wherever you're living, like, honestly, there's so much to do that I can't stress enough how creating new memories makes a relationship last long. I mean, I have a note here that says, example of things to do: look for the oldest gravestone in your nearest cemetery. Now, I do agree that's very specific, very, very specific people. But again, there is a plethora of things to do around Scotland. And even if you maybe don't have the money to go and explore the cities around you, you can try new foods. You can try, I think with Africans sometimes, where we can just cook one pot of rice and chicken and we can eat that Monday to Friday. We are the kings and queens of meal prepping. Let's be clear, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you're thinking long-term relationship, change it up. Yes, you can cook an Indian curry. Yes, you can make an Italian lasagna. But try and explore the African countries. You know, a lot of times we don't really acknowledge one another. I think that there's maybe 54 countries, 52, 54, I think, in Africa, right? How many of those cuisines have you guys tried? It could explode a whole new hobby in the two of you. Maybe one person's the one who constantly cooks, but suddenly the other person's like, I really like trying all these new recipes. And now you're dabbling in all the neighboring countries you've never eaten from before, and you don't even have to leave your city to do that. You know, YouTube is there, and there's loads of African shops around the place now. You can get all these ingredients and add that into creating new memories. Maybe it's about hating all the new foods together. Maybe it's about searching for these ingredients together. It's all about these things that you do together that help you create something that only you two are doing. And you and your friends, I think, it's easier to do new stuff with your friends. It's easier to do new stuff with your colleagues or whatever. But how often are you doing those new stuff and saving them for your loved one? You know, because it's easy to give, as I say, it's easy to give the least of yourself to the person that's constantly there. Because again, in your mind, they're constantly there. They can become a part of the furniture. It's easy to do that. Just don't let that happen. So don't let that happen. I'm so sorry. You can certainly avoid that happening. And yes, life is busy, but guys, we can do better. Another great thing is to plan surprises. Now, not everyone is great at spontaneous surprises. We don't have to be. It's okay to not be great at everything, right? But the effort really matters, right? Unexpected gestures of affection, even, you know, as I said before, a hug for nothing. It could be it could be anything. Please, we can Google is for free. Spontaneous road trips. Again, this thing about Scotland having great transport access, I really want to encourage that, because I think the further north you go, you see less and less black people. But in Glasgow, in Edinburgh, we're all concentrated. Like, why is it we're not spending days out there? There's things out there to see, and a spontaneous trip doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of money. Yes, you know, petrol prices are shocking. Maybe don't go on that road trip if you can't afford it. Certainly not. But can you afford a packed lunch? Can you afford a bus ticket? Fantastic, because then we can go somewhere and it's a surprise for your partner. Maybe it's their favorite meal deal. Nothing wrong with a meal deal. Or maybe you've packed them, the jollof from 2 days ago and you're going to eat it in a park somewhere. That's all really good things. So, guys, tonight, I thank you for listening. We've been talking about quality time. We've been talking about communication skills. We've been talking about keeping the love alive. These are all things that are super important, and I have so much more to say. I think we're going to have to break the show up into 2 parts, because keeping love alive, especially if we're looking to go the distance, if you're going steady now, right? I'm going steady. If you're going steady and it's new, it's fresh, these things are probably, you're thinking, oh, these things are not that important. But actually starting them now, starting these habits when you guys are still fresh, just post swipe, you're still fresh in the love life, and you envelop, or you begin to develop these strengths now, your relationship will go far. If you have been in that love cycle for a long time, maybe there's ups and downs, because that's life. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, right? But even if you are in for the long haul, these are skills that you can, maybe you haven't had these skills before, but you can start to develop them because you do have your person and you do want to keep these things going with them forever. So thank you for listening. You can rewatch back this show on YouTube or catch up on the Jambo Radio website, but we're going to continue this conversation next week, because again, there's just so much. Like, life is long and life is short, so many more tips to share with you next week. Thank you for listening. My name's Holly from Swipe Right HQ. You can check us out. You can check our website out. That's Swipe Right HQ. And we are Scotland's premier dating agency for the Afro-Caribbean nation, maybe, community across Scotland. So we've been hosting you tonight at Jambo Radio Scotland. Thank you for listening, and I will sign off tonight, wishing you all a lovely weekend. Here's the news again.